support coordinator. So my entire role is designed to help support and manage hopefully a successful launch with the portal. So when you ever get a wrap.support email, I'm one of the key people at managing that email. We're part of a wider group. You can see in the back of us, traffic management reform. So there's 7 to 8 work streams under the umbrella of traffic management reform, and dealing with enforcement, other issues. This work stream is dealing, and today's discussion is dealing specifically with the new online portal. Now, we did conduct an industry session yesterday that is recorded. That's great because my face will be plastered on Vic roads forever. That we will hopefully make that available. So if you missed yesterday's, and particularly yesterday's was MOA focused. So that's for accredited traffic management companies. We'll have a few extra buttons in portal. Today's discussion, for all intents and purposes, outside of the walkthrough with the actual application, 90% of what we're going to cover was covered yesterday. So if you want to walk through the consent application, stay here and watch this space. I can't see this taking much more than an hour. Outside of that, the way the portal operates, how people register, where they find information, the training information, all the other aspects that we'll go through today is exactly the same. So today's biggest difference is just the audience. We're targeting the consent audience today, and then yesterday was the MOA audience, the traffic management companies that submit MOAs. So I'll share my screen. We'll just show you the sort of the rhythm of how today will operate. And all right, here, good. So this is it. I have only 2 screens today, not 3, but I had to find a quiet room. All right. You can see there's only 11 slides. Each of the slides are wonderfully color-coded. So once we get through 2 of the yellows, I'll actually start sharing my screen and walk you through it. So it's just a few, because I hate death by PowerPoint. So just a few PowerPoint slides at a time, trying to hit the key points, and then I'll actually walk you through what I've just said. I was always told, tell people what you're going to say, and then show them what you said and remind them what you said. So today's session will be recorded. We're happy to take questions throughout, but really you could write them in the chats or put your little yellow hand up, if you will. There's plenty of time at the end. Again, we ran this yesterday and all up about an hour and 10, 15 minutes. Keep in mind, when the portal does go live, and I'm still trying to talk to the dev team to figure out the best way to circulate this, there is training material available today. It always is. It's a horrible experience to watch someone online clicking buttons. It's much easier if you can follow along with the training material. So they're step-by-step, user-friendly. It's designed specifically to help everyone on board. Again, any questions regarding issues?
Yeah. If we can turn on
there's a new feature. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. If we can mute. Any questions? If you need a new feature, you requested a new feature, a new flashy button, or you think a feature is broken or doesn't work right, or you're having trouble onboarding some staff, wrap.support, the MOA hotline. This group might not be aware there is an MOA hotline dedicated to support the MOA team. There's not, unfortunately, one for consent. It's going to be updated to bring comments and questions up to myself. I'm not going to be able to answer where your consent application is. So that's the hotline, and the portal support coordinator is not designed for that. If there are questions around the portal, that's my remit. If there are questions around why it's taken so long for the consent, who do you talk to within the consent team? We could try to pass on your inquiries, but DOT is a very big structure. Sorry, I can't solve DOT's problems. So I believe, are we recording now? Are we good to go? So we'll start off.
Yep.
So the launch date. So yes, as all things being equal, we've been told that the launch date is this Monday, the 17th. And only new applications for MOAs and consent will go through portal. Now, this is the phase 1. There is a dedicated pot that we recently received for phase 2. So that's with any new flashy device that you roll out, there's always exceptions. So there's exception applications here with the lists. So if you're on this list, you will continue to go through normal channels. If you're not on this list and you're trying to submit a new MOA or a new consent application, The direction is to begin to shift your attention and go through portal. So the exceptions are anything special events, MRPV, utility notifications, which aren't really an MOA, but they're MOA related, the big build, and then specifically for this group, 2 versions of consent, developer funded, and the Big Build Alliance. So if the type of applications that you tend to submit on a daily or weekly basis is on that list, continue. There is no change. If you're not on this list, third party, other big build, just general construction big build, not the big build as like Westgate Tunnel, all of that should begin to go through portal. We'll walk through, this is the next slide, and then I'll walk you through, like I said. So we're going to walk through where we're going to go next is the landing page. That's the landing page that gets you into the portal. The portal, we're calling it RAP. So that's always fun to say. Road Access Permits Portal. Again, there's a knowledge base hyperlink, and I'll show you where that's at on the landing page, and that provides step-by-step instructions and some additional forms. Again, because we're removing the Excel sheet, so we might need additional forms in some cases. There's also frequently asked questions. Part of our remit is to begin to centralize, bring greater consistency and clarity across the different VicRoads and DOT websites. Not everyone might be aware, but for all intents and purposes, DOT, PTV, and the little DOT were merged a year ago. And there's just sometimes you might find inconsistent information. So we are slowly, very slowly trying to funnel that. So wherever you land on whatever web page, you find the consistent information for construction. So the FAQ is our attempt at trying to make our mark there. Again, this is phase 1. So as new applications, big build, whoever, utility notifications are onboarded or new features are added, the knowledge base and the contact us will be updated. So this isn't just set in stone. We recently ran pilot and we got feedback, and even some of the feedback has made it prior to launch. So the portal, it has been designed to hopefully make it easier to work with and submit applications with DOT. Now, there are 2 ways you register for, and I'll show you that. New traffic company, so that might not be everyone here. Again, today's session is focused on consent. Yesterday's was traffic management companies. They will register through new companies will register through the accreditation. There's also an online survey, and we'll put the link in the chat. That survey is just trying to capture the business and an initial contact, and that's our attempt at trying to bring the industry on board. We collect that data, we put them into the system, and then on Monday, they'll receive an automated email to then register with the instructions. Consent is a bit different. There are new consent people that have never applied for consent ever, and there's a portal registration form on the landing page. And then also, just because there's no fees attached with MOAs, there is a fee attached with consent applications. There's the big shift from invoicing, because usually you submit the application, you receive it, and then you're invoiced later. The way the portal is set up, the fees are paid up front, and it's by credit card. All right, so let's walk through. So this is the landing page. When we say the landing page, this is what it looks like. You can see that there's a knowledge base and contact us down here at the bottom. You click on the knowledge base, and there's hopefully easy to use. Again, any feedback's always, any negative feedback's good feedback. So if you don't find that the material is easy or you think there's a step missing, RAP.support, you click on it, and then there'll be simple slides that you can download at your and save to your own computer and have in future. So there would be activate, but here, how to apply for consent for working within the road. There's how to apply for that, how to apply extensions, how to use the dashboard. So simple to use instructions. You can download them, save them for future reference. Hopefully the portal has been designed relatively, because everything is slow baby steps. So basically I'll show you, we'll walk through the actual dashboard in an application. So the types of questions that you would see on the existing Excel file are basically mirrored on the dashboard and portal. Again, that might change in the future. It provides a bit of flexibility, but right now it should be like for like, so that you shouldn't see any new types of questions that you've never encountered before. If you go back to the contact us, you can see that there's also the link for the training materials here, but there's also FAQs. Click on that, and there's definitions. Again, we're trying to bring consistency, clarity, access to wrap, instructions. If you still haven't done this, so if you are emailing wrap.support, calling the MOA hotline and trying to get a hold of myself, the first question I'll be asking is, have you looked at the videos? And have you looked at the FAQs and downloading the training material? Nothing personal, but we've set it up. Now for consent, because this is the audience, again, for new, never before accredited traffic management companies, they will go through the accreditation process. Consent, sometimes it's sort of a one hit. So previously, a new company might submit the consent application, and then the officer would take that information and then put them into OneView. OneView is our back-end system, and then they would then become registered. The way it's going to set up here is that you will be directed to fill in this application, the registration form, email wrap.support. We will register you and then send out that automated email. So that's sort of a two-step process now. All right. So that's the landing page. Of that landing page, there's what we're calling the portal. So wrap is the portal, sort of the front door to the back to OneView, which is the back end. OneView, if you're a frequent consent applicant, you'll see it's sort of the long 5 or 6 page form. Consent often has different attachments associated with that. You get a big number, WWRR-0001234. So that's when we say OneView. The OneView is generating that, and portal is the front door to submit that. So we're getting rid of the Excel sheet, and all the information that you provide through portal goes directly into OneView. Now, it doesn't necessarily apply to this group here, but accredited companies can activate and deactivate MOAs. Unless you're an accredited traffic management company, you will just be able to submit consent applications. Currently, there are 2 types that you can onboard your own staff, admin and staff. The main difference being admin can onboard staff or deactivate staff if they leave. I've had feedback from the traffic management companies because that additional step that they have in activating and deactivating MOAs out on the work site. Now, our team is looking into that to see if it's a quick win. But again, those kind of features, requests, that's perfect for wrap.support. It's important to keep in mind, we don't have a bucket load of money. So we have some dedicated money for phase 2. There's already a backlog, a massive backlog, that extensions being one of them. So we can't do extensions on the portal. So we'll receive these requests. It's not a wish list. If you find something that could further support the wider industry, particularly around safety and those kind of aspects, then we'll probably try to prioritize those tickets. Outside of that, it'll be based on the prioritization of the existing backlog. But again, all feedback is good feedback. So if you do see a button missing or you really think of the feature would be helpful, send it through. Now I'll show you the initial contact. So when we say the initial contact, that means on Monday or subsequently, you've never registered for portal. That's that initial registration. Once you've registered the company, and it's slightly different to this group than it is for the traffic management company. So this is important to keep in mind, especially because we deal with the big hitters like John Holland. So in TDG, Traffic Diversions Group, it's a big traffic management company, but it's just TDG. So they're happy to have their 100 staff under the umbrella of TDG and portal. Some of the players here in today's meeting might, I don't know, because I didn't see all the names, might not want 2,000 people registered under John Holland. So it's important to keep in mind companies like Zinfra, the utility companies, or other big, large construction companies, the ABN and the trading name that you registered the company in that initial contact, all subsequent staff will be enrolled and onboarded under that umbrella company. And companies onboard themselves. It was made apparent that it's not overly burdensome. It's like a 2 to 5 minute process to onboard different additional staff. but that during pilot, it was the traffic companies particularly pointed out they might need to onboard over 100 people just because of the number of work sites, and they different staff do some submissions, and other staff do the activating, deactivating the team leaders. So that might be, there might be a similar aspect around that. I'm not promising that additional types will be rolled out, but that's something, again, if that's feedback that is pertinent to this particular audience, Wrap.support, and we'll take it on board. And then the other thing before I show the dashboard, again, I understand the pain points, as we will, around sort of the opaque nature of where your application is, how long is it going to take before you receive it, who do you talk to? So there's particular application statuses that we've put in, and right now we're working with 5. Hopefully they reduce status requests and provide a bit of clarity around where your application is. So the default status is always submitted, and I'll show you what that looks like. In review is when the officer's begun the review. Waiting for details would be hopefully allowing you to understand it currently sits with you and not with DOT. If the application's on hold for whatever reason, and then the PO view required, that's how different internal teams communicate with each other. So let's introduce ourselves. So on Monday, you receive an email. I've put this in Word just because of the way it has to work, but this will be in an email and there'll be a hyperlink. All right, and what you'll do is you'll take this hyperlink, put it here. So this is the first action that you will need to do for Portal. So you have, this is you registering your company, whoever you work for Portal. You would register, get the invitation code. Now, I made this mistake yesterday and it was recorded for infamy, so I'm not gonna make that mistake. The very first time that you register, not subsequent times, you need to sign up, not sign in. So you would sign up. I think it's Corey Tester. Put the name. Make a password. As a verification code, it's important. Currently, the verification code is going to the email. It's when you register additional staff, we're suggesting to put in a valid mobile phone. One of the features we are hoping, and again, we'll instruct this to industry if that feature does come into fruition, but that the code would be sent just for additional security to a mobile phone. But currently, right now, the way the portal is set up, security has gone through this and ensure that this meets their security requirements. Is that a 6-digit code? Just need to, sorry, go to this Mailinator for testing. There it is. So I'll just show you this email. So, okay. Yeah. Oh, no. Right there. Sorry, just 1 second. Didn't find it. Oh no. Somehow reached my limit for free email stuff. How do we do that? Didn't see that coming. Oh, no.
Can we just use the existing email from?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm up for other suggestions. Otherwise, I can't sign them in. So there'll be a 6-digit code. I was just hoping to walk them through the whole thing from start to finish. That's very embarrassing. Wonder if Andy's on. He's got another suggestion. It's just it's a free mail service for testing, but I guess I'm not cool enough. I've reached my maximum testers limit.
Maybe let's just use another group email. So let's see. Maybe use another one.
Yeah, do you have a suggestion for that?
Yeah, I've just got another group email that you can use.
You want to put it in our chat?
Yeah,
I'll have to set it up. Okay, sorry, apologies. Anyways, we'll walk you through that. I'll do it with this. So you would, once you log on, the portal would pop up. Apologies, I've just run out of free emails. I just don't want just random Gmail accounts out there floating. So initially what you would do then is onboard additional staff. And you would do that very simply. So this is the staff that's currently in there. It's just tester data. You'd create a new user. So tester again. Email, just phone number. So we're going to pick a fake number, but again, I would suggest putting that in. Then you would submit. Scan, apologies. Okay, so then Corey tester, and the last thing you do is send the invitation. So that would be what you would do once you onboard additional staff. What DOT is going to do on Monday is send out that invitation code to everyone that's registered on that survey, and we'll provide that survey at the end of this. So you're going to have to give me some information, I guess.
Yep, I'll just forward that email to your site. Yeah, so you can show what.
Which email would you be doing that?
I'm trying to, still waiting for it. Yep, I just got it here. I'll forward it to you.
Okay, fabulous. So it's pretty quick. Sorry, everyone. As always, technology will save us. Just wanted to walk this through just to ensure that everyone's comfortable, because this will be the first task, trying to minimize the number of calls that I get from everyone saying, that's where is it? So I actually have an email, yet another email. So I'll show you what the email looks like. It'll look like this. So dear Corey Tester, and you click on this. So I just need to, before I do that, I need to sign out, or my computer will forever break. So just sign out and walk through that hopefully one more time. Apologies. So we'll just try this one more time.
Yes, you'll get twice the training on user creation.
Twice the training. Camera. So there's the code again. Register. All right. So again, don't sign in, sign up. Just need to, I don't know. Correct. That's given. There. All right, the verification code. You on, please. Thanks for hanging in, everyone.
Just waiting for that to arrive, and I got it. It's 457460. By the way, never give your verification code to others, but this is for the testing process.
Do it. Just because it's on. Oh, all right, fantastic. Now, I did spend some time on the terms and conditions and the privacy collection statement. Feel free to read those. We will not, but basically, what I always say with industry and internally is 95% of the way you currently work when Portal launches is exactly the same. So in this instance, however we use your data and whatever is included on the Excel sheet, it doesn't change. But that also pertains to any documents that you might need to submit. So outside of the Excel sheet going away, 95% of the way things work does not change. So it's just important to keep that in mind. The biggest change at this point from an industry perspective is hopefully greater awareness. So there's Corey Tester, thank goodness. So this is the what we're calling the portal. There's two dashboards. There's the draft dashboards down here that you can save, and the drafts will be in place for 14 days. And then there's the application dashboards. We have tested this there is the submitted column, the approved column, and the expired column. Now, for heavy users, consent users, once you register your company, those columns should populate. So if you've actually have, in this case, 5 or 20 approved consent applications that are still valid, that number should be 10. And if you have expired ones, however many you have, 20, then that column will be populated with 20. Sorry, I'm looking at the MOA row, but the same with the consent. And again, it's important to keep in mind accredited pre-qual, but we're now shifting towards accredited. So accredited traffic management companies will have all 3 buttons. Unless you're accredited traffic management company, these 2 buttons will not be there. And the only button that you'll have is the consent new submission button. Keeping that in mind. When you do when you do submit, because the Excel sheet is going away, the documents, it's not a two-way system. So the documents are held on the DOT server, but you do have access for them to your submission, and you can click down here, click on documents, and any documents that you've submitted, there'll be your PDF of your submission and any training. I put training, sorry, but any construction drawings, any documents that you submitted as part of the application will be there for your review. Oh, and again, you can still see it's linked. It is the landing page, but you can still see the knowledge base and the contact us. All right. I think that's it. Expiry, just for volume and server capacity issues, expired applications stay up for 6 months, and after that they start dropping off. And then, so again, there'll be buttons up here. So the managing the access, which we fortunately just walked through again. Thank you for your patience. This will be how you onboard new staff. The company profile page, you won't be able to change that. So when you register, you'll have to go to the send your request for wrap.support, and then the dashboard. I think we'll walk through one application. I was just going to show you the brand new one, but I have one set up. So when you click on that, and you can see the tab. So once you go from left to right, that's the completion of your application. It's important to note that if you save it for future reference later on, the eligibility tab goes away. That's just something the way the system's designed. So currently, if you've checked with your exempt for consent, if you have, you can proceed. If you click no, there'll be please refer, and you won't be able to pass. So just keep in mind, again, this is sort of a check to make sure that everyone that needs to submit an application, so we don't waste time. There has been, especially with utilities and some other exemptions, that consent's not always needed. So again, it's trying to direct the industry to particular pages so that they can ensure. Developer funded, there's help text here. Again, developer funded applications do not make launch. We are hoping to onboard them in a future state. If you click on yes, then this will direct you to begin touch pages and to figure out where you need to submit, which is your current channels. And then do the works require excavation and open trenching. If you click yes, you will not be able to proceed because the Department of Transport does not authorize works that involve excavating. So you need to go to the Get in Touch page. If for some reason out in rural Victoria that you need to excavate, then you would proceed that way, and then you would click next. Just going to save and go back to the other one, because once you save it, the eligibility tab goes away, which is what I found. So just going to save for later and move on and go back to the dashboard. Let's see here. Did I miss any big points? Right. So just before we go through it, so it's important to keep in mind, this is baby steps. So this is phase 1. So out of the gate, almost all of the questions that you might fill in with the Excel sheet can be found on the dashboard. Now, that doesn't mean that they belong on the dashboard. There might be different types of questions. And so the team is working within other DOT teams, the other consent teams, to figure out if there's a more efficient way to get applications through, particularly around traffic impacting type of questions. So there's still some ambiguity. We acknowledge this between MOAs. There's definitely a relationship between MOAs and consent, but that to what extent some of those questions are pertinent or better placed on the MOA submission versus the consent submission. So watch this space. The portal is the perfect avenue to amend some of those types of questions. I'm just putting it out there that when you encounter the questions, depending on how you answer in portal, might stop you from proceeding your application. Previously, if you just left some of your Excel form blank because you didn't know the answers, you could attach the Excel form in the email. Bob's your uncle. So I'm just saying what we've been saying again, 95% of the way you work and submit, in this case, consent applications, I would continue the advice is to continue as is. So if you have historically left some sections blank because you don't have that information, I would suggest doing that now. Currently, there's just one location that can be mapped. We're hoping in a future phase 2 state that there'll be an actual map and that you can drop the pin of your work locations. Currently, there's just a smart text that helps to look up at your address of your work site. Something that might be slightly different for some, because I believe a lot of the applications go through different Outlook emails. When you submit a consent through portal, you'll get what we call an acknowledgement email. That email, I'll show you what that looks like, contains a PDF of the submission. It's super important to always reply to any correspondence from DOT pertaining to a particular application. There'll be a TN number, a tracking number on the subject line, and we've tested it, and even up to today, we had a meeting to confirm this, that as long as you have that tracking number, that correspondence will be directed directly to the consent application in question. So it might be a slightly different tracking number, but as long as you see the reference and it's that correspondence regarding that particular application, you just continually reply to that email. So it might be 3 or 4 emails down, but as long as it's talking about the exact same submission you submitted through portal, that'll all get grouped together. The system's designed to work like that. I just can't overemphasize that. That way there'll be no lost correspondence and all the emails are tracked. And that's sort of a big change internally within DOT itself. So our group's been training in different internal teams. The consent team is one of those. Hopefully that will reduce the burden on everyone. Now we are hoping to remove, again, this is a moving feast. So watch this space. There'll be features added, features subtracted, different ways of communicating and hopefully expediting the application process through the portal. One of the key changes that we're hoping to put in place is removing the notification of completion drop-down feature for launch, and then replace that with just a more fit for purpose. So the direction I've been given is if you're going to do a notification of completion, generally that's been done by just replying. There's usually a 15-day reminder that your consent application is about to expire. And that's usually when applicants will then just reply to that email saying, oh yeah, we finished that work last week, or we finished that work 2 months ago. So that's the current direction I've been given for the notification of completion. Again, the traffic impact tab, I'll walk you through that in portal. Unless you tick no, it will result you in potentially filling out different further drop-down questions, again, depending on how you fill the subsequent questions. And the work type, currently in the Excel form, there are 4 drop-downs. The service connection, service supply, depending on the legislation, it's either service extension or supply extension. But anyways, the way the portal is set up currently right now is that there are minor works and works other than minor works. Those are the only 2 drop-down features, and I'll show you that. Service connection equals minor works, and the extension, service extension will works other than minor works. And the team is trying to get a ticket in time for launch to provide additional help text to support that. We're hoping to, as time moves on, we might have additional feature. I believe these pertain principally to utility companies, so a quicker turnaround time for the service connection to ensure household and businesses actually get their services on time. So we think it's a worthwhile feature to put in place, but until we get that feature in place, minor works and works other than minor works are your two options when you submit an application through Portal. So we'll go back to my draft and we'll edit. So I've saved this from previously. And again, you can see that the eligibility tab has been removed and you start with the application details. You can put a project ID. There's a form of type. There's some help here around consent, notification, and there's your completion. Again, the direction is only basically do the application for consent or notification proposed. In this case, we'll just do notification requiring consent. Now, depending on how you address this question, subsequent future questions in the portal will either be made available to you or not. For this purpose, well, we'll do utility, and I'll just show you what that means. So utility here, everything in the gray is pre-populated based on the information captured in portal. Again, we're trying to reduce the burden of submission. You can tick box that another organization is responsible for conducting the works or leave it. And then you click next, and I'll show you the different. So works other than minor works and minor works. And those are featured around when you collect utility, and you can see that if you're back. And again, you're going to get nipped if you fill in incorrectly to try to save some money up front. You will get captured. So I'm just showing this just so everyone's fully on board for all transparency, but there are ways around this. So we'll do that. We'll go to next. So it's all persons there. That's generally the consent type of application. Works other than minor works is what there, and you can no longer get the minor works option. The address is automated. We can put an address here. 105 10. Does it work? Let's see. Just putting any address. Sometimes it's always. Is there one in Victoria? Victoria, Mansfield, fine. So that's how that works. For some reason, section number 105 High Street. If your address doesn't have a specific address, it's near a highway or whatever it is, you can put in, on Monash Freeway. Of course, with you guys, you shouldn't be doing works on Monash Freeway, but you can put Monash Freeway between X and X place. And you would have to subsequently fill out. You can see anything with a red star is a required mandated field, so you would have to fill those in. Go back to this, go back to Mansfield. There you go. All right. The date range of the work site, we've been found during pilot. It's always good to know. That's what's tested with live applications. Some people were putting in the dates manually. We strongly suggest putting it using the calendar only because it's something to do with the formatting. It doesn't seem to go through. It doesn't format right. There's some errors emerging. So just use the calendar and pick your start date, your end date, the number of days selected, your start times. If there's aftercare, that's optional. Now, description of works, I'll put in a big selection here. There's currently, I think we found this out during pilot. It's a funny number, but it's like 1,832. So there's two suggestions here. One, if your description of works is less than that, you can put that in. The team is trying to extend that to about, I think, 4,000 or 5,000 characters. But when we were talking to the person assisting us in pilot, we just asked why you didn't cut and paste into a Word document and as an attachment. But there's different ways to do that. I can't imagine that every application, it was with a very specific job that was had a lot of work sites and it was around, I think, associated with Big Build. But you can show you what it looks like with just a lot of text. So that's about what it was. I think that's only half of the text that they had. So we did find there was a maximum limit. Just putting that out there. Now there were some questions around owners of impacted assets. If you click on that, have been notified. Now this is again a future feature. What we found during pilot and for both traffic management companies submitting MOAs and consent applicants submitting consent is that because they're submitting their application through email, they would often CC different people that they might need to notify. Now, I think a feature that we could probably roll out in the next few months would be additional drop-down free texts to include additional emails that you know. At this point, that feature is not in place. So if you tick box that, no one is notified. It's just saying that it's sort of reminding you that there is the onus is on the applicant to notify impacted people, whoever that is, businesses, bus services, different parts of the industry. Construction drawings, again, we're trying to bring a bit of clarity. I'm still working on some really good definitions. My preference would be to provide specific definitions and drop downs of different construction drawings. I haven't got any good advice internally on that. So for this point, this was our go at trying to ensure some more detailed description of when we say construction drawing or a mud map. So watch this space. You would upload your construction drawings. You pick your folder. I have some set up, just some dummy stuff. You can pick, okay, it's right here. You can just pick one, or you can hold the shift and pick them all and open, and then hit submit. And there you go. And that's what it would look like. I mean, with your particular nomenclature. Then you go process. Now, traffic impacting. So again, this is the set of questions that you would normally see on the existing consent application, the Excel form. Generally, just because of the way the industry works, the construction site or the works manager usually submits the consent application, and then they hire a traffic management company to do the traffic management related activities. Now, that's not always the case. I know it's not necessarily that black and white. And often they won't, one activity might be done before the other activity. I'm just simply saying that if historically you've left this blank, I would continue to leave that blank. If you do have the information and you click yes, then these additional questions will drop down. And as you can see, have you applied for an MOA? So if you're not sure or exempt or the reason, you continue to, additional questions will emerge that you'll need to answer, the mandated questions that subsequently pop down that you'll need to populate, and you will not be able to progress until you do. Will the works involve the closure? If you say yes, is it a full road closure? Again, so the different types of mandated questions will appear for the traffic impact tab. You will not be able to progress to provide the information. Similarly with the reinstatement, if they're temporary works, you have some dates. If there are no temporary, but there are permanent. So hopefully that's cleaner. You can click next. Additional documents. This would be the time to say, so again, if there are, one of the discussions that we were having was that if you used to have a service extension, something else that you could do that you wanted to highlight that, I'm not saying that's the best workaround, that could be one workaround, that when you do your description of the works, you could say these are service extension. Right, so that would be another way to get around. So continue to think about that because some of those the requests and the more nuanced details around your application might have been included in the email correspondence. And that since we're no longer using email, you will still need a place to put that whatever you would normally have put in the email correspondence. So that is one place you could put that in. There's additional documents, that anything that you would need for supporting documentation that will help with your application. And we'll go next. So you need to acknowledge that you've provided the true and accurate information and that there be a fee payable on the permit application. That would be the fee. You pay and submit. The fee is determined based on the type of application, so works requiring consent, your role, there are works other than minor works, the location, and is it the DOT assets that are impacted or not impacted. We'll leave portal for a brief. We piggybacking off MyVic Roads. Just put on credit card number. Put up the fake number. So make sure that you guys aren't copying this fake credit card number. Pay and submit. I'll show you the acknowledgement email. It takes a few minutes, so it's not instantaneous. Congratulations, your application's now been successfully submitted. So a copy of your tax invoice along with the PDF of your submission will be attached to your acknowledgement email. So if you go back to the dashboard, it should take a second. Oh, did it go? Oh, I think it might have gone. That's really quick. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 minutes. So it was down here in the draft application dashboard. We'll go into the submitted. Yeah, there it is. Oh, fantastic. That's really quick. Fantastic. So you can see your submission. I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, and sorry, Yuan, can you forward me the, oh no, it won't be in there. Oh, it will. Can you forward me the acknowledgement email and I can show everyone? Because I'll have the tax invoice and PDF. So this is the this is the email, but I just really want to emphasize, because it's recorded here, the importance of replying to the acknowledgement email if you have any, if you, for whatever reason, you forgot to attach a document. Currently, if you forgot to attach a document, you can't go back to portal and amend your initial submission. Again, a feature we're highly hoping to put into place sometime in the future. So for things like that, I forgot to attach this drawing. You would then reply to the acknowledgement email with the attachment. So again, the submission through portal is a one-time deal. Hopefully Yuan will forward me the email, but that I'll just show you what the PDF looks like here. So this is the PDF of the application that you just submitted, that we've just submitted through portal. There's your description, how I changed the service extension with the poor spelling, apologize. So that's what that looks like. And then the tax invoice. And then this is the tax invoice for records. As payments been successful, here's your tax invoice number, the brief description of the business, description of what you've got for the payment. No GST has been charged. You want?
Still waiting.
Oh, I haven't got it. Oh, got it waiting. Okay, that's fine. Just forward it when you can. I can go to the next slide. All right, so that's that is, so we've done the landing page, and we've done the portal, and I think we're close. So I've walked through those two, and I think so extension and change and refund requests are all done via email. Again, these features are we'll hope to roll them out at a future state. So for now, they are done, they're captured in the email correspondence. So whatever email, again, that you receive pertaining to the application. And again, if you have a question around what is the application, how do you cite it, what number do you give? Again, this is something we're hoping to change because I don't think it's necessarily appropriate, but the consent number that you were provided is the consent, and this is the submitted application, is the consent number that's eventually authorized. So if you need to, for whatever reason, inquire into an application, if you need to inquire into consent 8068, that's what you would say is 8068. I didn't go through the statuses, and I apologize. I just realized that. But in the submitted, in all of them, actually, oh no, it's just in the submitted because the authorized would be authorized. In the submitted column, you can see that the default is submitted because we just submitted that application. There could be in review, waiting for details. I don't think I have any on hold, but so those are those statuses that I discussed earlier, and those will be in the submitted column, because obviously once they're approved, there's no reason to have those status because it's approved. There you go. or suspended, I guess, for a reason, and then expired. So anyways, okay, so that's good. So I'll show you the, yeah, so that's captured. So the extension, change, and refund requests are captured via email, not through portal. Again, we are looking to add potentially these requests in a future state, but there is a new form for refunds. I'll show you where to grab that. Go back to the knowledge base and roll all the way down to additional forms. And again, there's a permit extension, permit change. So those are MOAs. So those are not valid for consent. So if you are consent applicants and you're looking to extend or change your application, you just simply provide that request through the acknowledgement. You don't use these forms because there's no fees attached to the MOA form or application yet. And there is one with consent. We provided a refund form in the event, for whatever reason, you need a refund. Complete the form, fill in all the details, and then submit that to the I think it's the submit, sorry, the wrap.support email, and we'll forward that on and ensure that you get the refund. So that's the refund process. And that's the portal. And at some point, maybe we'll look at this takes a few minutes. So it's just, anyways, Yuan will forward that email, hopefully, just so I can show you that. And I'll show you the tracking number, which is what I'll do. I could probably open up another version and just show you what an email looks like with Real Live.
Yep. What's the WWR number again?
Which one is it? It's submitted. 8068. So 3 zeros, 000 8068. Let me show you. I can just find something in here and find you. I can show you, I think maybe this, just to really emphasize this. Working some image.
You went to the by admins. I think you were on like a different account. That's why it's, yeah. And it's gonna forward to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I can show them this. All right. So just to show you what we're looking at, just to emphasize this, just because it is new for you guys. So that when we say one view, this is one view, and these are all the applications. If you click on any in review, here's approved, the application, you might get a funny number, and you can see the summary tab. So this is the acknowledgement email. This is what it looks like for us, but this is what that we see ourselves. So you can see that Dear Justin, thank you for submitting. Received your application. Now, this is currently we upload the applications manually, but that same submission will have, again, that receipt, the tax invoice, and it's the PDF of your application in addition to any documents you've uploaded. So keep that in mind. Here, finally, sorry, baby steps. So this is what the email will look like. And again, this is, you just got to expand it to show you. So because we're UAT, this is for testing purposes, not the live environment. So it says UAT, but this will be TN. And that number is super important. That often changes, but as long as there's a TN number associated with whatever the application is. So in this case, it's 8068. So the simplest rule to remember is just hit reply. That's the simplest way. And this email will be directed through to OneView and ensure that whoever is in charge of reviewing consent number 8068 reads your correspondence in a timely manner. And we're hoping that that's a big win for the consent team. They were relatively disorganized from a correspondence perspective, and hopefully this triaging, will provide a bit of, will hopefully reduce some of the workload and the burden on both sides. So I think at that point, I've covered everything. I had the new forms. Yeah, the questions. So I'm happy to walk through. I did walk through that relatively quick. I guess the big hitters again. Did we put the the survey on there. I could put it on the here too, I guess. Just copy it on. If you have not replied or completed the survey, this is the, oh, that's not very good. It's horrible. Let's put that here, and I'll make it black. Just click on that link, and I think you could almost click on it. I'm not sure, but that is the survey link. So what we're hoping to do is, what we're planning to do, not hoping, is to take that information that you provide us through that survey. So it's basically capturing the business information and the initial contact. So whatever email you put in that survey, that email on Monday will receive the automated registration instructions that we walked through at the beginning that we had problems. So that, when we talk about the survey, that's the survey. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. That was silly. I just texted, I changed it and then I stopped sharing. I guess I could do that. Right, hang on. It's silly. I apologize. Changed it and then there you go. So sorry, that's the survey. We will also put this in the chat, but that's the survey. So when we talk about the survey, that is the survey. It's quick. It takes like 2 minutes. Some people don't. I have not been finishing the survey because I think they don't necessarily know their ABN, or they might not think they're the best suited candidate to enroll their company. So again, we're going to leave those decisions up to the industry, but that's our way of trying to manage sort of some of the disruption that's going to happen. And I'll just conclude one last thing, because I think we're starting to hear questions on taps on here. It's important to keep in mind that come Monday, things don't stop. So obviously it's not static. It's a very dynamic environment. We appreciate that. And that in turn brings about some confusion. So to minimize that, just keep the simple rule. If you submitted your application through portal, reply to correspondence through that channel. If you've submitted your application through non-portal avenues, reply to the correspondence in that channel. And that way the correspondence will remain in the two channels. It's just managing the backload, the existing applications that have yet to be authorized. There's no way to do it. We just can't cut things off. It's the construction, so construction never stops. So we'll slowly sunset. I can't see this anytime soon, but at some point, other consent channels will hopefully sunset at some point, and then the portal will be the primary channel that all consent applications, different types. But until that point, if you're on the exempt list, continue to submit through your normal channels. If you weren't on that consent list, the exemptions at the beginning of the presentation, submit through portal come Monday once you register. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat. Is there any questions once you've completed this? How long will it take? Oh, right. So people, I don't know, everyone's very excited about the portal, which is great. So we won't send out the registration or that automated email that I showed you until Monday. So some people completed the survey weeks ago and they have been asking this question. So just hold tight. You've done everything you're supposed to do. It's now on DOT's end. Our applications often have no fees as the works on behalf of council. Yes, again, depending on it's the smart links based on whatever the submissions are. So if there's exempts, you should be exempt. If you're not exempt, then you'd be, the only difference then is just instead of the invoicing, the fee is paid up front. Is the payment fee a standard fee or does it change? Yeah, again, so I showed you the receipt. So the fee is based on the application details. So the type of applicant, who you are as the applicant, and the type of work, minor versus works not minor, and the location and all of those details of the application. So but that's always been the case. So when you invoice, there's no difference in the fees. My understanding is it's BAU. The only thing we've done is just shift the fee, the payment fee timing from invoicing to credit card up front. So currently the fees when you're invoiced are based on your application details. Good questions. Sorry, Gary, what's the support email? Oh, wrap. Oh, good. Wrap.support. Thank you. Fabulous. we can take you off speaker, so we're happy to stay if there's more further questions. Unfortunately, this video will probably also be uploaded, so we'll have 2 videos of my dodgy American accent. I apologize. I can't get rid of it, even though I no longer live there. So my face and that voice will be forever present. So hopefully this recording will be made public soon, and we'll circulate that. And the training material will be updated when required based on new features. So again, look at the FAQs, look at the training material, look at the recording, and that should hopefully provide you the feedback we got from the pilot participants was that the application process was relatively straightforward. And so that's a good sign. There shouldn't be any hiccups, nothing strange. New message. Will there be recording links sent via the email? Well, I'll figure out the best way. Our team will have to make that decision, but they'll definitely be circulated. It's not something we want to hide. It's gonna. I'll be triaging, I'm sure, lots of questions on Monday. So anything that we can do to support you in making less mistakes and clarifying any questions up front is going to make my job easier. So whatever that is, I'm happy to support that. All right. Well,
questions?
Again, we're here. We're dedicated. Anything. No one wants to speak up. Everyone just wants to type. Or it was super simple, Simon, which is a good sign. Thank you for answering the questions during. Oh, you won. Yeah, you won's the best. It's been great to have him on our team.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think with that, we'll close it. Again, look at the training material when it is made available. Moving forward, that's the lay of the land. Until I'm told otherwise, we will be launching on Monday. So hopefully it goes relatively smooth. And again, Wrap.Dot support for any suggestions, queries, and we'll try to get back to you as quickly as we can. I mean, depending on the volume of questions next week, I can't promise a quick turnaround, but my sole reason for being over the next few weeks will be to transition everyone onto Portal. So here to support. All right. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll talk soon. Oh yeah, just finishing up future training. We're still trying to work out the rhythm. There might be some scheduled up on a monthly basis. We're still trying to figure that out. We could, for maybe bigger hitters, I don't know, that want to do a specialized team training for their entire organization, we could try to figure something out like that, because again, it's going to benefit us. But it make more sense to have more of a monthly scheduled training session. But again, hopefully everything is relatively straightforward, but that is something that we're considering moving forward, particularly maybe with big rollouts, big features. Like if we put the extensions online, that would make sense to potentially re-record that to walk you through that. Okay. Applications currently cannot be edited. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's correct. Yes. So it's a one-time deal. The submission that you've put through Portal, any additions, any changes, amendments to that will need to be followed up through the acknowledgement email. That's the way it's currently set up, but we're hoping to change that sometime in the future. Okay. Thanks, everyone.